Good evening and welcome to the Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association Health is Wealth monthly program that we have here at CAN TV. I'm Reverend Evelyn Collier Dixon and I am your host for today. And on our telephone, who is our program coordinator, Miss Janice Henry. And we're just so blessed. Let me just first tell you about Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association. We are a culturally competent nursing organization consisting of registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and student nurses. And we meet every second Saturday at the Lutheran School of Theology, 1100 East 55th Street on the second floor from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And all are welcome to participate and come and just see what we're all about. You can also visit us on our website at the Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association. And our president is Miss Ellen Durant. And we're just so happy today to have my good friend, a longtime friend and mentor to me, Dr. Sandra Webb Booker. Thank you, Sandra, for coming in and being our guest today. She was at one time a host, and we're recruiting hosts to help us out a little bit, so we might just consider having Sandra come back and take her role. So welcome, Dr. Webb Booker, and thank you so much for taking out of your time to come and share with us today. Dr. Sandra Webb Booker is the chairperson for the National Black Nurses Day Committee. And Dr. Webb, I'm not going to tell the audience what that entails. You're going to do that and about the important event that we have coming up with the National Black Nurses Day Committee.
Okay. Thank you so much,
You're
Evelyn.
welcome.
And I do appreciate your invitation always to come here and be a part of this program. What I'd like to share is that the Chicago chapter of National Black Nurses Association has a long-standing history and commitment to Black history. And given that, and given the fact that we're in healthcare, I can tell you that this marks our 32nd annual celebration of Black nurses. And we want to recognize those Black nurses who have made significant contributions to healthcare as well as to the community. And this year, I can share with you, we're so pleased to be able to do our first honorees in the area of legendary nurses and certified nurse midwives.
Wonderful.
And we're so happy to be able to do that. But I can tell you that on the national level, our organization has been going to Washington, D.C., participating in Black Nurses Day on Capitol Hill for a significant number of years. And because of such, Senator Charles Rango, back in 1988, made a proclamation that one day in the month of February will be set aside, and used to always be on a Thursday, because that's when Black nurses would hit the field at Washington, D.C. That day would be the day to celebrate and to recognize the contributions that Black nurses make to the welfare of this society. How we look and we're concerned about people of color, and not just Black color, but color. And we have a feel for their diseases, their ailments, be it physiological, be it social, biological, etc. And because of that, we advocate for people of color when we're on the Hill to ensure that the legislators know what the issues are, what the concerns are, and how we perceive their role as legislative officials can influence as well as positively influence the healthcare status of our communities and its people.
So it kind of trickles down. Okay, thank you for sharing that with us, Dr. Webb. And I'm just so happy to know that you are also a historian. That makes it me feel real good to know I'm sitting among you who got all this wealth of information and knowledge. Can you share with us what legendary is? What do you say when you say legendary nurses?
When we say legendary nurses, we mean someone who has really gone above and beyond just the regular call of duty, but have made significant contributions at one of the highest levels possible. And so consequently, that's why we've made a decision to recognize this year 5 legendary nurses in addition to the midwives. Now, let me just give the primary credit to the World Health Organization.
Okay.
They deemed, since this would have been or is considered the 200th year birthday celebration of Florence Nightingale, that we should recognize legendary nurses of the caliber of the Florence Nightingale, who was there at the war and the bedside to comfort the troops, to make certain that nurses were there to provide care, and that made a significant impact on our soldiers there fighting, involved in all those various wars, the Crimean Wars and etc., as well as back home for our people to know that there are nurses, registered nurses, that are at the forefront of this horrendous event, this wartime disaster, making certain that they can provide for the health care needs of our soldiers. And you tell me if that is not legendary.
That is definitely legendary. And in addition to Florence Nightingale, we have a black nurse that was there, Mary C. Cole. Is that not right?
Oh, yes.
All right,
Mary C.
wonderful.
Cole, yes.
Wow. Okay. What other organizations are working with the Chicago chapter to make this celebration what it's going to be? And you're going to tell us when it's going to be and what's going on. I know you said we're honoring the legendary nurses and nurses in midwifery, but when is the event, and who else is working with the Chicago chapter National Black Nurses Association?
I'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
The event is going to be this Friday, February the 28th, at 6 p.m. at the Apostolic Faith Church, located at 3823 South Indiana. That church is pastored by the Reverend Dr. Horace Smith.
Okay.
And I also need to let you know that that church has allowed us to come there and host this celebration for 13 years. And we just really are very pleased with that relationship with the medical community and the spiritual religious community to be able to host that type of program there.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the other nursing organizations, we have the Alpha Eta chapter of Chi Eta Phi. We have the Lambda chapter of, you help me with it.
Lambda Pi Alpha.
Okay, of Lambda Pi Alpha Nursing Sorority. And then we have the Provident Hospital School of Nurses alumni.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, we have the Chicago chapter of the National Black Nurses Association. So we have teamed together, I'd say for maybe the past 13 years to try to bring these types of celebrations where we honor what Black nurses do, as well as nurses of color. And we've even gone beyond that, as well as nurses who have made significant contributions to the improvement of health care within our communities, be they whatever color.
Right.
We have made that step, that commitment to honor them for looking out and trying to assist us in our endeavors.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I noticed, Dr. Webb, you said 13 years. I just want to give you a little history. It was 20 years ago that I appointed you to be the chairperson for this committee. You prior to, you had been appointing others to be the chairperson. So when it landed, I said, that's the person I want to chair. And you have been chairing this committee for 20 years. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, since 2000, you have been chairing this committee, and you have done a yeoman's job with this event that we do. Initially, it was on the first Friday. Tell me why we moved it to the fourth Friday.
You should tell me.
Well, I can. I really can. I think it has something to do with, we were thinking that the weather would be nicer.
That's what
Right.
we thought.
And as long as we encompassed it in the month of February, we were okay. And then when we would go to the Hill, I think we
would
conflict with that. Right.
Right.
So since I'm giving the history now, okay.
But let me say this. When we went to the Hill, it was always that first Thursday of the month.
Right.
And then to have to rush from D.C. to come back here to Chicago and to be here and be ready to have the program on the Friday immediately following Black Nurses Day, it has really taken its toll.
It has taken its toll.
So consequently, the last Friday was deemed a little bit more feasible and to have a little less wear and tear on our bodies and our minds.
Perfect.
Yes.
And also, Dr. Webb, we used to float around. And I noticed you said we've been in apostolic faith for 13 years.
Yes.
I remember when you were president, we went everywhere.
Yeah. We went to Dawson Skills over on 39th Street. We were there for a couple of years. We were at Providence Hospital.
Yes.
We were there for a number of years. We initially had our first programs for the first 2 years at the University of Illinois at the College of Nursing on the 4th floor student lounge.
Okay. And I think we went to Cook County a couple of times.
Oh, yes, we went to
Yes,
Cook
yes.
County Hospital for about 2 or 3 years. And I remember that was the time when President Barack Obama was
Yes.
running for office, and Michelle Obama was one of our speakers. Yes.
Wonderful. Now, let me ask you, how are men nurses, or male nurses, shall I say, interface in this activity? Do we have any male participation?
Well, we have male nurses
Yes.
that are involved with each of these organizations. In terms of awardees, this year we do not have any male nurses, but last year indeed we did.
Okay, okay. And we have male nurses in our organizations that are on the planning committees also, right?
Oh, definitely. On the planning committee to help pull everything together, we have Ronald Campbell, the former nurse administrator of St. Bernard's Hospital.
Okay, okay, wonderful.
So we do have input from males as well as females.
Okay, very good. Now, again, callers, you can call in at 312-738-1060 if you have questions. And if you don't call in, you could always visit us on YouTube. Just check in under the Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association in a couple of days, and we will be rerunning. And you can certainly be a part of this great event that Dr. Webb is going to again tell us the date, a time, and who we're honoring, a little bit more history on that, and then we're gonna be in good shape with that.
Okay. Again, the date is February 28th. It's at 6 p.m. at the Apostolic Faith Church, located at 3823 South Indiana. So our awardees, we're going to award Dr. Annie Lawrence Brown.
Wow.
96 years young.
Wow.
And she was the director of the Providence Hospital School of Nursing that is accredited, applauded for getting that program's National League of Nursing accreditation.
Wow.
The hospital had the Hospital School of Nursing actually began or opened its doors in 1899. And it wasn't until she arrived in 1956 that they pursued gung-ho that National League for Nursing accreditation.
Oh, wow.
Now, the program had been approved by the state of Illinois, but the NLN, they're the ones that accredit the solidity and the viability of that program, and that was done under her leadership. So she's one of our legendary nurses.
Okay.
A second legendary nurse is Bernice Mills Thomas, and she's the Chief Executive Officer for the Near North Health Organization. And Bernice began as an LPN and progressed through the ranks of RN and on to the ranks of Chief Executive Officer there. Okay. So she coordinates healthcare within that organization, which encompasses 9 different locations.
Wow.
Might be 8, but I think it's 9.
Okay.
And so we want to hear from these 2 ladies because one represents education and the other represents bedside or public health care. Public health care.
Right.
Okay. But we're going to also include Reverend Dr. Shirley Flemings, and Flemings Ellaby, Shirley Ellaby Flemings.
Okay.
And she was appointed by one of our past mayors, Harold Washington, as being over the Department of Public Health for one time, okay?
Okay.
Then we're going to also recognize Dr. Eva Smith.
Okay.
Dr. Eva Smith is a retired faculty from the School of Nursing at the University of Illinois, and she's accredited, or shall I say, she's being applauded for her efforts to get Black nurses who are involved in the community organization. Back then it was the American Heart Association and several others who worked with people who had heart ailments and cancer and various other chronic diseases, rheumatological disorders, to help them to understand the significance of their roundtable discussions and their healthcare services to the research aspects of healthcare delivery, because they would be exposed to the various things that dealt with how this disease process progressed and how people use different measures in order to enhance their quality of life. And then we're going to recognize Ruth Slaughter, who's also formerly with the Chicago Department of Public Health.
Wonderful.
And she was one of the first African Americans in that nursing division there.
Wow.
So, those are our honorees for legendary nurse.
Okay.
Then when we look at certified nursing midwifery, we're going to be recognizing Dr. Beverly Harper, who spent 30 years at Cook County Hospital as a nurse midwife, who taught obstetrical instruction at Chicago State University, who received her graduate degrees from Yale University in midwifery.
Right.
She is a first.
Okay.
We're going to also recognize Paula Manuel, who at one time was a student of Dr. Beverly Harbers.
Okay.
And then we're going to recognize Charlene Sanders, another certified nurse midwife who completed her program at the University of Illinois. So I think we have a wonderful program in store for everyone. And then following the program, we always have an informal reception whereby we get to network with the other organizations, the other nurses. And I know I got calls today. We got nurses from the University of Chicago Hospital who are coming. We got nurses who are over obstetrics at Roseland Hospital. And the calls are just continuing to come in. And we're so happy
And
about
they're
that.
going to come because this is going to be an exciting event. Dr. Webb, you know our time when we get on the show, it goes so fast.
You mean our time is up?
Your time is up,
Oh,
and I am I'm just intrigued and excited to have you here. Thank you so kindly for coming. We look forward to having a wonderful time on Friday, but I do have an announcement that I need to make, Dr. Webb, in regards to our census, okay, which is a very important event. We all want to be counted, okay, and why it matters. Census is one of the most important events in the United States. Every 10 years, the census helps determine the number of seats your state get in Congress and how billions of dollars in federal fundings are distributed to states and communities each year. And we can help the Census Bureau protect the accuracy of count by reporting inaccuracies, suspicion, or fraudulent information. Okay, I'm going to very briefly tell you why we ask. Okay, we ask first of all the number of people. What we ask the number of people at that address, and the additional people living or staying there. Who the owner is. These are not complicated questions that they ask. What's your phone number, your name, your sex, your age, the date of birth, whether you're Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin, your race, and whether a person lives or stays somewhere else, and your relationship to you. So we want all of you to not to be afraid to answer the census, but if you don't want to answer the census doorbell, there are places that you can go to visit sites. There's the Garfield Park Community Counselor, and that's Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 6 p.m. People's Community Council, and that's 3570 West 5th Street, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I may not be able to get all these in, but I'm going to try. Family Services, 837 West 109th Street, 10th Street. So we have them on the west side, south side, places that you can go and you can feel comfortable. They have a computer there. If you don't want them coming to your house, you can certainly go to these places. Above and Beyond at 2942 West Lake Street. That's Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30. Fathers Who Care, 4540 West Washington Boulevard, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Loretta Hospital, 645 South Central Avenue, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Chicago West Side NAACP, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sinai Community Institute, 2653 West Ogden, and that's Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4 p.m. Okay, I got all of that in. And for more information, you can visit the website at www.countingochicagocoalition.com. So in other words, if you go to Google, type in your census and it'll give you the website, okay? For more information, you can contact us at the Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association on our website, and we will certainly be able to lead you to the persons that you need to speak to regarding your census. But you do want to be counted. You want to be counted so that we can be the recipients of those seats, legislative seats, the billions of dollars that other communities get. We want to be recipients of that also. So don't get left out. Please be counted. Again, we want to thank you for joining us today for the Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association Health is Wealth program. I want to thank Ms. Janice Henry, who provided us this census information, and you can contact her at the Chicago Chapter National Black Nurses Association, and we will gladly pass her information on to you or your information on to her. So thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you Friday at 3853 South Indiana at the Black Nurses Association event. Okay, 32 years. Have a wonderful evening.